This Amateur Radio Roundtable is brought to you in part by ICOM America. Okay guys, we're back with you and we're on. Sorry about starting late tonight. Martin and I we did an hour test right before the show and everything was working just perfect, but you know how the internet is. Anyway, hey, couple announcements real quick. Today's Tuesday, October the 10th. We've got an exciting show for you tonight. We're on WBCQ shortwave radio station on 5130 out of Monticello, Maine. If you're listening out there, you can join us at W5K and watch the video. It's going to be a great show. We got a couple prizes we're going to give out to some lucky viewers out there. We've got a great guest, Martin Jew, K5FUL's back with us tonight. I've got one announcement I'd like to make very quickly. Let me put a link in the chat room. And I'm putting a link in the chat room, and let me tell you what this is, folks. I have a cousin that is in Water Island. That is a little island off the coast of St. Thomas. And as you know, the two hurricanes recently wiped out those islands. There's nothing there. There's no grass there. There's no trees there. There's nothing there. No electricity. They're probably not going to have electricity for a year. Garbage is piling up out there. It's going to be just really bad. And she is trying to do a relief package for the entire island that she lives on there. And she has raised quite a bit of money and she bought gasoline for everybody on the island. And she came to the U.S. I think last week to buy some supplies. She bought a whole bunch of generators. She's buying things like mosquito repellent, rat poison, because after this hurricane there's going to be a lot of mosquitoes down there, and as the garbage piles up there's going to be rats and mice everywhere. So she's getting necessities, gas cans, extension cords, things like that. She's got it all the way back to St. Petersburg, Florida. But then the connection failed right there. She had a pilot was going to fly it down to St. Thomas, but he backed out at the last minute and didn't make it. So she is working on trying to get all that equipment that she bought here in the States down to the island where they can use it down there. So she set up a GoFundMe page. I just put the link in there. I'll put the link in there again. It's a GoFundMe. To raise some money. I think she needs $6,000 to transport this equipment down to this relief equipment down to Water Island. I think she's got maybe $4,000 already raised, but she needs about $2,000 more. So there's the link right there, guys. If you can give $5 or $10, it's a worthy cause there. You guys, you ham radio operators know that whole area down here is a complete disaster down there. So thank you for doing that. All right, so hey, tonight let me tell you who we got on the show again tonight. And we're going to have a special announcement a little later in the show. But let me tell you who's joining us tonight. If this is the first time you've joined us, tonight our guest is Martin F. Jew, an amateur radio operator, K5FLU. He's an inventor. He's the founder and owner of MFJ Enterprises, which also includes Hygain, Cushcraft, Ameritron, Vectronics, and other companies. He graduated from Mississippi State in 1966. He graduated from Georgia Tech in 1971. And in about 1972, he started manufacturing a small little CW filter kit in a hotel room down in Starkville. And that was the start of MFJ Enterprises. In 2012, the ARRL awarded Martin the ARRL Special Achievement Award, honoring him for his innovation in the field of amateur radio. Martin also serves on several board of directors of several companies. Let's see, in 2014, Mississippi State University College of Engineering honored him as a distinguished fellow. He lives in Starkville with his wife Betty, and he's a member of the Starkville Rotary Club. He's a board president of the Boys and Girls Club. And he's a board member of the Mississippi Children's Museum. He's been inducted into many different Hall of Fames in ham radio. So I'm greatly honored tonight to have, again, my good friend Martin Jew on the show with us tonight. Hello, Martin. And I don't know if Martin's there now. I think he's still trying to get his connection up. So it looks like Martin is not there. You there, Martin? Yeah, he's there. He's there.
Can you hear me?
I hear you and I see you. I do.
Okay.
Martin, hey, perfect. You got a good picture there.
Okay, great.
Let's see if I can. Let's see if I can get you in here. What is going on here? I guess if I click the right button. There we go. Okay, Martin, I got you.
Okay.
Now, guys, I need to bring this up at the beginning of the show just because you're going to ask questions. You might notice Martin's left jaw right there a little bit. Martin, go ahead. You got to turn your head a little bit right there. Okay. Let me tell you something, guys. Martin was wanting to buy a new radio. He didn't have enough radios. He was wanting to buy a new radio, and my understanding is Betty did not want him to have another radio. So, Martin, did you get that radio, Martin?
Yeah, I got the radio, and I got something else too.
All right. Well, we're just joking around. We know Betty would not do that to him. I think Martin had a little stumble there yesterday, and he's lucky that he didn't. You're lucky you didn't break your ear off, Martin.
Well, I am. I just was in the living room in my slippers, and I just kind of tripped and fell and hit myself on the edge of the table. So that's where that bruise came from.
Well, we're glad that you are okay.
I'm fine.
And we're glad you're there, and you're gonna continue putting out ham radio products for us. We really appreciate it, dear. Hang in there. We don't want nothing to happen to you. Okay.
Okay.
Now, let's see. I bet you some of your family's in here tonight. I wonder.
They are. They have been texting me, and I hadn't been able to text them back. But I see Bobby is on, and
Brother
Betty,
Bobby,
and my sister May is on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find somewhere to put this.
Put your phone, guys. What we're dealing with here, Martin is actually coming to you by telephone tonight. His internet connection wouldn't make the trip for some reason, so he's trying to figure out how to put that down. I tell you what, let's do. We're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about MFJ, and there is so much to talk about. The companies that we're going to see tonight are Ameritron, High-Gain, Cushcraft, and we're going to see the metal shop. So I want to go ahead and start a video up here real quick, and we'll stop in just 3 or 4 minutes here, and we'll talk a little about it. But for you guys to see this is the 45th anniversary. We went down and went through every company down here, and just want you guys to see, if you've never been down to MFJ, what it's like down here. So let me see if I can get the MFJ video started here. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. All right, hey guys, I'm here at the MFJ Metal Shop in Starkville, Mississippi, and I'm with Brad Creeley. I think you're the manager of the
That's right.
metal shop, right? Hey, Brad, tell us, man, this is amazing. Tell us about it.
Well, all of our boxes are made here in house. They're all out of the different types of metal and things that you see here. Our metal comes in as raw material as you can see here, in different sizes due to whatever our specifications to our supplier are, and then we come here and we have an order system where it tells me what's on order for MFJ or the other different companies, and these machines are all CNC machines. And so there's a program on this computer that we go and we pull, and we'll pull that over to the computer to the machine and begin punching from that program.
So you've got all your different devices or boxes all programmed in the computer.
Right.
You select it, and it knows where to put every hole and where to every punch and every bend, right?
Right.
All right. Let's see how it works.
So we come around here, and the operator he goes through the program and changes his tooling out to match what box we're going to run, and after that we cut our sheet to specification for that box, and
So
as long as the turret is loaded, it's ready to punch whatever box we have that we're going to do.
all right, so step back that way a little bit so we can see this
Okay.
punch. Now, you got a piece of metal here ready to punch, right?
That's right.
What
That's
are we
right.
making? Well, do you know?
We are making 868 boxes.
MFJ 868. I don't know what that is, but it's an MFJ 868.
868. That's right.
Okay,
I don't know
so
exactly what
let's
it
see
is
this
either,
thing
but
work. How do we work it?
Push that green button right there.
It's noisy.
It is. We generally wear hearing protection and eye protection as we're doing this.
I need one of these for my shop at home.
They're pretty.
You know, I
they're
hate,
pretty neat
I hate
things.
drilling a little hole and then taking a file and making it, real big, So this will be kind of cool here.
This machine is fast enough that the orders that you saw, we run about, between this machine and the other one that we run about 20 to 25 orders of different things a day
Okay.
in an 8-hour shift. And there you have it.
All right, let's look at this. Can we
5 boxes.
pick one up and just hold it
Yeah,
up and
Bob, check that out for us.
or just show us one that? All right.
All right. And now this is ready to be deburred and sent on to our screening room.
I'm assuming that's for coax connectors
For
right
coax
there,
connector,
and then
that's
you're going
right.
to bend it later.
It's going to be bent.
All right,
That's
very good.
You'll see that step in.
This is for an MFJ 868.
All right.
Very
and
good.
Then the skeleton, which is what we call the piece of metal that's left over, will be bent and put it into our scrap bin, and we recycle all of our scrap.
All right, cool. All right, let's see what's next. All right, so this must be a brake. It looks like a brake to me.
Yeah, this is our press brake. It's an RG35. It's one of the best ones on the market. It bends everything that we have here at MFJ that we bend.
All right, well, let's see him bend something there. All right, there we go.
He's bending a 939 chassis is what this is.
All right, here we go. All right, let's go.
All of our products have models that
Uh-huh.
that we keep our bin numbers and all on, and
So
he enters all of that through this computer, and it's ready to.
I don't know if you call it like different dies or something. You have
Yes,
to
we
change
have
different pieces
different
for
dies
different
and punches,
boxes.
different lengths, right,
Uh-huh.
to fit all the gaps.
So he had to make some type of adjustment there, I assume, for the
Right.
next bend.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So there's
All right,
a
let's take a
completed
look
box.
at that. Look at. All right, guys, look at this.
So
Yeah, this is
939.
cool. This is cool right here. This is a. This is a.
It's a 939.
939, and you can see the antenna connectors and power connectors on the back. Neat little bend there. Great job. Looks good.
Okay.
And its surface didn't even. Your die doesn't even mess the surface up. in
That's
there.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, where are we going next?
All right. The next thing that we do is, we have a press nut machine where we would bring those for our press nuts for connectors, and it's air controlled. We would put the piece of metal on that with a nut and
Okay.
press the pedal, and it goes down and presses that in.
So it just presses the nut into
It
the
presses
board.
the nut into the board, and it's ready for assembly and screw after that.
All right. Cool. I like it. That way you don't have to hold a nut and put it on the back side, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right.
And then the next thing we will see is our screen printing area.
Okay, this is silk printing.
Silk screen printing,
Silk-
yes. So all of our
Maybe
boxes,
a little more over here.
all of our boxes that have screen printing on front and back or the chassis or whatever, all of that's done here in this room by hand.
All right.
And as you can see, she lines the part up with the screen and takes a squeegee and squeezes ink over it. And
Now, is this the same box that we saw him bend a minute ago, or it
I-
looks similar? It
it does look similar. What is this?
This is different.
This is an 828.
820.
That's right.
Okay. So there.
Get one of these
Okay.
back here. I'm gonna mess her up.
Okay. So this is the MFJ 828. You can see she just silk screen printed all the lettering on the box here, and this will be taken out and bent.
That's right. It'll go to the bending.
All right, very good. Thank you. Bill, take a shot of all the scrap here. Look at the scrap. You saw the punch going a while ago.
We keep this separated by steel or painted aluminum or plain aluminum.
Okay.
And then we have a box that we put slugs, which is a mixture of all of
That's
this.
good. And I guess these are a couple defects that didn't work out right, and you just throw them in there and recycle them.
Anything that is scrap that we don't use, we recycle. That's right.
That's cool. And you got a lot of metal's been punched out here. How many pounds is that we got there? Maybe 1,000 pounds. Probably at least 1,000. Yeah.
1,000, 1,200 pounds, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks very much for showing us the metal shop.
Thank you.
Okay, well, guys, that was the metal shop. Martin, did you ever believe 45 years ago you'd be doing that much metal work?
Well, no, that's pretty hard to see that far in the future. But in the beginning, you know, we had a punch press. It was a 2 half-inch thick pieces of metal, about 8 inches, about 3 inches. And it was stacked on top of each other and separated about 1/10 of an inch, and it had a hole pattern for the filters we were making. And we took the aluminum box that we bought from Radio Shack and slipped it in, and took a hardened punch and dropped it into those 2 metal plates and hit it really hard with a hammer. That was our punch press.
Man.
And that metal box had 11 holes, and you had to swing that hammer 11 times to punch a box.
That was a lot of work. Now you got machinery that does it for you.
Yeah.
That was that was something. Now, you know, people haven't seen anything yet. We're going to get into Ameritron in just a minute. We're going to see all the nice, beautiful amps and how you build them and all those things. Your video's coming through real good. I assume you're on your phone, right?
I'm still on my phone.
Okay.
And,
all right. Well, it's doing good. It's doing good, Martin.
Okay.
So regarding the metal shop there, you guys don't waste any scrap or anything. Those big boxes of scrap there, I mean, they go back, and I guess you get credit for the metal and just put it toward more metal, right?
Well, that's right. It actually goes to a recycling plant, and you know, we get a little bit for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, let's jump into Ameritron. Since we got a little bit late start, let's jump into Ameritron. And well, first, before we do that, let's do this. Since we ran a little late, let's let Hambot do a prize. Hambot's going to do a prize. We're going to give away a few prizes tonight, and then we'll jump into that. So let me see, Hambot, are you ready to do something, Hambot? Let's see if Hambot is ready to do something. Oh, Hambot says they're ready. So while we're waiting on that, I need to bring Hambot up here. Let's see if I can bring Hambot up. Guys, if you've never played with our giveaway yet, here's Hambot. We got a winner already? Okay, so yeah, I'm just trying to set up a few things. Let me go back here, and so we've got a winner. It looks like Martin, they got that fast. So that was for an MFJ 260C, a 300-watt dummy load, donated by Martin F. Jew of MFJ Enterprises. So let's see who won that. That's scrolling off my screen here. That was won by. Was that won by Ed? Ed, WB5ORT, is that right, Kathy?
Yes.
Okay, congratulations, Ed. You won a, what was that, a dummy load, I believe. Okay, so let's jump into the Ameritron company, and we'll take a few breaks during that video, and then that way, Martin, we can talk a little about it. So here we go.
Okay.
Hi guys, I'm at MFJ, well actually I'm at Ameritron. That's a company of MFJ. here in Mississippi, and I'm with Mike Ennis. And Mike, you're the manager here, I think. And tell us about Ameritron and show us some, okay?
Okay, Ameritron, we specialize in linear amplifiers for HF and 6-meter operation, and you're at the facility right now where everything that you get that's got a Ameritron name on it, it's all manufactured and produced right here. All the testing takes place right here, and also all of our service takes place right here. So as we go through, we'll get to see some of our products and the assembly lines where they assemble some of this stuff, and we just make our way on through.
So Mike, is this guy right here actually putting one together here?
Yeah, this is our Rob. If you call in on a service call, where you sometimes this will be the one that you would be speaking to sometimes. This is Rob Hood. He's right now in the process of assembling an AL82 amplifier that uses a pair of 3500Zs. He went through and checked all the wiring harnesses and make sure everything works at this level, and then we'll go through and finish the assembly and then install the tubes and transformer and do a final RF test on everything.
And I see the panel. Looks like he's about ready to try to put the panel on here in a minute. We just came from a sheet metal shop where you make these panels. It's cool.
Pretty.
I see I think that's the input coils for tuning the input bands. Is that right?
Yes.
For the amp?
Yeah, that's the tuned input part of it. Our front panel has it's a piece of metal, and then we have a Lexon decal that overlays that. Of course, the Lexon coating allows a lot of hams likes to mark that's tuning places and stuff. You can mark on there with markers and stuff, and later on, if you want to change it all, you can just come and wipe it off with alcohol or something, and that way it doesn't run your silk screen or anything.
All right, so you'll actually test it here. I see a transceiver there, a bird watt meter, and a power supply.
And then we got a big bird dummy.
Hey, Martin, just shout out if you see something you want to talk about. Okay. Well, cool.
Transmit out into the signals, into the air, but
show us more.
As we come on through, we'll. Here is John. He's our tech guy for our solid state. This is the ALS 600 amplifier. He's actually doing a service repair on here. You'll see he's installing the MRF 150s, the finals that goes inside the amplifier. He's also one of our guys. If you call in with a service tech call for a solid state amplifier, he's one that you would be talking to on the phone. And also, if you do a help desk into here, he's the guy that does all the help desk questions also. The line that we do assemble these, as we come down through here, you'll see here's where they're assembling. This is the PA board that you've seen that goes into the amplifiers there that you've seen John working on.
All right, so here we are, stuffing the parts on and building it from scratch.
Right, everything that comes over here with the boards we order in, everything else we make, like the little, you see the little transformers here that she's made up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That goes on there. These right here. This is all our machine shop makes the little tubing that goes inside, and then the end pieces. We put all this to assemble it, and then we solder it all together. So we make all of our RF transformers and things that you see. This is like the little feedback transformer here that she's made up. It goes onto the board. So everything we try to do in-house that we can. One is to control the quality of it, and the other is to have it readily available when needed. Okay. So everything you see also over here, we all hand solder. Everything's all soldered by hand.
Okay.
As we come on down, this is more of our mobile application we were talking about. This is the ALS 500M. It'll give you 400 watts key down, 500 watts on sideband of talk power. This will allow you to operate from 1.5 to 30 megahertz. It has a rotary switch. You can select which band you're on. Or let's say you do want to put this out of the way. If you're in your vehicle, you don't want it up front with you or anything, you can put this out of the way, out of sight. And you can use the ARI 500 that we had mentioned before, that you can interface this between it and the radio. And that way the radio will tell this what to switch to from band to band. Or let's say you don't want to go this route, you still want to control the bands yourself. We have a little interface box.
Little manual switch.
Yes, sir. You would put this up front. It would tell you your power out of your amplifier. Also, it's got the switch to switch the bands.
That's pretty cool. Let's see if we can get
And
that on
then
there. Let's see if we can get that on the camera there, Bill. How's that looking?
And
All
then
right,
it's
so
got
this is the
the
main
little
switch.
indicator lights, let you know if the amp's operating or if it went into a low
Uh-huh.
fault command or something like that.
Okay.
That way it keeps you up to date. And this is the PA modules they've already built up, getting ready for assembly
Okay.
on those, so they'll go into there.
Okay. All right.
And then back here is where you see the Mirage. This is a completed Mirage amp. This is the B2518G
Uh-huh.
that you see. We do all the testing and everything here. After they assemble it, we put it under RF, make sure it makes the full output power. And then it's got a little preamp. This is our preamp board here.
Yeah.
It can give you up to like 12 dB gain on your preamp side.
That's
We
good.
receive signals, so they hook that up. And we got a spectrum that we measure the gain to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Okay.
And then back here, we also, all of our packing material comes in foam sheets like this. It's memory foam, so if it squeezes, it
Mhm.
bounces right back in place. Here we are, Miss Tony, she's wiring up the front panel for an LS 1306 amplifier. And then over here is the actual line that we produce all the parts that we need for the 1306. We're getting
Tom?
this is the
Yes.
filter board.
I think
Yeah,
the video and the audio is not syncing.
Is that not? Let's just see what's going looking like. Let me watch it again.
This is the filter board here where it started. They'll go through and solder all these little chip capacitors on here.
Yeah.
All of they place it on by hand, solder it all by hand. And then right here is a finished board. This is actually what she's finished up today. So this is it. All the toroids, we wind those here.
Uh-huh.
And then they wire all that together. This is each filter for 160, 80, 40, 20, 15, 10, and 6. So it'll cover all the bands right there on that filter board. Here's Karen. She's getting ready to, she's making these are thermistors that she's assembling here. They will install right onto the FET. And also she'll have one that mounts right onto the heat sink. So inside the 1306 and the 606 amplifier, they're thermal controlled to increase the speed of the fan or reduce bias, whatever it needs to do to maintain
Yeah.
itself during
Cool.
operation.
That is heavy. That's
Yes,
very heavy.
That's a thick heat sink. If you notice
Yeah.
how thick it's a
That's
real thick.
solid heat sink here.
Yeah.
That thing is really heavy. I can almost pick it up.
So here's the ones they've already assembled
Uh-huh.
this week, getting them ready to start production. Start sending them on out. These boards here are, since we combine two, we try to keep the minimum of difference from PA to PA so you don't have any imbalance type stuff.
Martin, I'm going to stop it there just for a second. And the audio looked fairly close to sync to me here. It may be because you're on your phone. But, so far, and there's more to come. In fact, we're fixing to get into those amplifiers I like looking at there, your AL 80s and the 572s, Bs, and all your big amps. They're beautiful, and that's what I'm wanting to look at here in just a few minutes. But just wanted everybody to see that there's so much to this, and you make so many of your own parts from different companies, like the input coils and stuff. You make all your input coils. I don't think we had that on here. You wind them all, put the little slug in there, and you make a lot of your metal parts. You make as much as you can, don't you?
Well, we do. If we were in a big city somewhere, we could go across the street to buy something, or go around the block and get metal done. But being down here in Mississippi, you can't do that. So we end up making just about as many of the parts as we can. Well, those slug tune coils we used to buy from a place somewhere up in the Northeast. And they went out of business, so we bought all of their stuff and started making it down here.
Well, I believe those slug tune coils were probably used in TVs, and I mean they can be used anywhere. But that kind of stuff's not needed anymore. So I can see why they would stop making them. So now you have to make your own.
Yeah, Yeah, but that's okay. We'll keep going with that.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and start the video back up, and we're gonna get into your nice big amps here.
Okay.
And just yell at me if you see something there. And
Okay.
I don't know if you're watching the video on your computer or if you're watching it on the phone.
I have the laptop on, and I can
Okay.
watch it on a laptop. And if you get a break sometime, I've installed Skype on the
Okay.
laptop. Give
All right,
me a
we'll try
call
that.
and I'll see if it'll work.
All right, let me just say what you're seeing, the reason you're seeing a delay is the show is delayed by about 20 seconds, and Skype is pretty real time, so that's why you're seeing the difference there.
I see. I see.
You're going to see a little difference. Okay, I'm going to start it back up. We're at Ameritron, and here we go.
So these boards are actually, most of the components are surface mounted, and then they come over and we make our RF transformers and
Okay.
solder all that to it. These are our power supplies. This is for the 600 watt amplifier. We offer two different models. We offer the 1306. This uses this power supply, which is a linear power supply. It's just a transformer with a choke to give you the 50 volts, 25 amps of current out. Then we have another model, same amplifier, just a different power supply called the ALS 606S. That just means it comes with a switching power supply. So these two power supplies are equal as far as power wise. The weight is the main thing. This only weighs about 8 or 9 pounds.
You can see the transformer on that one. Yeah.
That one weighs like 35 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
Difference.
Okay.
This is all of our packaging. Here you'll see like those power supplies we've seen. They bring those over. They're installing the screws, putting the covers on them. All of our covers is it's a vinyl overlay. So that way the metal comes in with the vinyl already on it. That way it's less likely to get scratched or paint cracked or anything like that. So it's really nice, easy to clean. You don't have to worry about the paint becoming dull or anything. This is the switching power supplies are getting packaged up.
Okay.
This is the little relay buffer box you had asked earlier about if you had an FTDX 1200. This is called the ARB 704. And what this does is this allows you to interface this with any amplifier. It can be old amplifiers made back in the 50s that had those high voltage 120 volt, 200 volt relay coils. You can hook this in between your amplifier and the radio, and it would drop it down to a safe voltage and safe current. So this is all of our solid state stuff you've been through. This side's our tube amplifier side.
Okay.
Here we have, it's in the middle stage of getting produced, I guess. Here she's assembling the back panel for the amplifier. Here where she's building the filter board that goes in this is our AL811 and AL811H amplifier line. So here they're building up. She's doing the back panel. She's doing the filter board for it. So she's getting it all installed. And then this is some that they've already got to a stage level. So this is the board she's working on now.
This is 3811.
Yeah, this is a 3811 amplifier here. The parasitic board here sits up on top. Years and years ago, you used to have a carbon resistor inside the coil.
Right.
Well, now carbon's no longer available, or if you find it, it's really expensive also. So we built more of a tune type parasitic. We use a resistor with a coil on the outside
and some
then
capacitors.
a capacitor to cancel out the reactance inside the resistor. Turns out it's a better circuit now because up on 10 meters you always had heat and stuff, and 10 meters you get the power up there and less heat on the capacitors, and works real well. Here she's building the filter board. This goes in one of our solid state amps also. These little toroids. This is our ALS 606 filter. It works from 160 all the way through 6 meters. It's basically what you'd seen, just a smaller version of the bigger board is what it is.
Okay.
they hand wind all those toroids over here in the coils and stuff. Place them on there. This here is
Takes a lot.
She's building the power supply board for our AL80B amplifier. This is the amplifier here. This is what it looks like when it's a finished product.
This is a beautiful
See
amp right
that?
here.
It's got a Lexon front, which is standard for all of our Ameritron amplifiers. We have vernier ball drives to give you a smooth tuning when you're tuning the plate, and load controls to resonate the tube. We have, this is our so this is our filter board that she's working on at the moment. We use wire wound bleeder resistors to stabilize our high voltage capacitors. Wire wound is more heat tolerant, so you don't have to worry about stressing the resistors out or them breaking down as easy. We rectifying diode here rectifies AC over into DC, and then it goes through the filter network. We use dual cross needle meters to give you an idea of what the amplifier is doing all at one
That's
time.
3-500.
We read forward and reflected power. Now this is a true peak reading wattmeter circuit built in here also. So when you're talking audio, it's going to give you your actual audio power going out when you're operating sideband. And then it gives you a monitor, plate current, and grid current. And then also, if you're reading reflected power of your antenna, it gives you an SWR ratio where the needles intersect. We use a heavy-duty band switch to do all of our switchings from band to band on taps of the tank circuit. We use good, high-quality air variables.
Did you say no taps on a tank circuit?
Taps.
There are taps, yeah.
There are taps.
Oh, yeah, okay. I see them
Switching
over
the
there.
taps of the coil.
Yeah. All right.
This uses a single 3500Z tube.
Yep.
You can put about 80 watts in. You get about a kilowatt out of sideband talk power. It still operates on 120 volts. It's a popular amp because of that. You can still run this on your 120 volt
I like
AC
this.
line.
I need to trade in my AL811H for this model.
Yeah,
right here.
we would need. That'll be a
I
good deal.
need to do that.
A lot of our tube amps, people want to install. Some of our amps has got the real delicate tubes in it. We have this board's already installed. It's a grid overload protection board, and what this does, it monitors the grid current of your tube. And this will, you can set it, put this in there, and when the amp gets more than safe level of the grid current, it will shut your amp down.
So is that something you add to any amp, or is that something you put in certain amps?
You can add it to any of your tube type
Because I think my
amplifiers.
811H does not have, I mean, I know
doesn't
you got to
have
watch
that.
the grid current when you tune it.
Right, yeah, you have to watch it. It's
So I could add something like that in here.
You can
possibly.
add something like that,
Okay.
but your tubes are usually more forgiving.
Yeah.
They'll allow you to do it, and it all started out for people that could not see, sight impaired type people. It started out that way, and then
All right, let's take a
and then they've seen
break
it, and
from
a lot
the
of them
video
started.
here at Ameritron and get back with Martin here. Martin, that last amp, that AL80, I'm hearing people in the chat room already saying that's the amplifier that they want.
That's been a really popular amplifier, and it's got some features that's pretty unique to it. That's probably one of the most sophisticated tube-type amplifiers.
You know, I was impressed. I've been reading up on it, and I think I'm going to get me one of those real soon. I was reading up on it, and what impressed me was the metering you have on it. You have dual cross meters, 2 dual cross meters on there that read, I guess, your grid current, your plate voltage, and then I think one of them is switchable where you can make it read different things. But does it read SWR?
I think it does. I can't remember right now.
Well, you know, I think it reads power. I think it reads power reflected and forward. So I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the way that the cross needle meter works is one of the needles will read forward power, the other one reads reflected power.
Right.
And where they cross, there's another graph on the meter itself that gives you SWR.
Right. They're asking about the model again. That's the AL80. Is it the 80B? Is that what it is?
Yeah, AL80B.
AL80B. Everybody go out and buy one first thing tomorrow morning now.
Yeah, uses a single 3500 tube, and it's capable of being plugged into the 120 volt outlet, and you can use 220 volts and should if you're a long ways from your power line input, but normally you can just plug it right into the wall, and it's pretty small. It's desktop size, very versatile. If you got an amplifier that put out much more power than that does, nobody can hear the difference.
Well, you know, and I'm glad that it'll run on 110. I don't want to run 220 back in my shack, and this is a nice little kilowatt amp. You can run on 110. I think the spec says it draws 16 amps at 120 volts, so that's not bad. And you've got a couple of different models of this, right? That one has one 3-500 in it, and I think you're telling me you got another model that has two 3-500s in it. Is that right?
Well, we do. We have one that's much bigger, and the power supply of the one with two 3-500 is capable of 2,500 watts. So that power supply in the one with two 3-500s is just loafing when it's putting out full legal limit of 1.5 kilowatts.
Well, that would surely melt my antennas here. I think I'll have a problem with that. Probably setting my trees on fire back there.
Yeah.
Martin, have you ever seen the arcing that an antenna does toward the ends on trees and telephone poles?
Well, yeah, you have to be real careful about that, especially when you're operating mobiles. The tips of those things will arc and corona discharge, and that's the reason you have those big balls on the end of the antennas, the mobile antennas.
Yeah. Well, that's the AL80B, and I've really been studying it, and I think that's the amp I'm going to get there. So, again, you guys make nearly all the parts there. Now, I'm sure you don't wind the transformers. I guess you have someone manufacture transformers for you?
We do. We have someone else make the transformers. Yeah. We've looked at making transformers, but it's something for our own use really didn't make sense to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting a little off subject, but I can remember in our days of novice when we built stuff. I mean, did you ever take a transformer and wind a few extra turns on it, or take a few extra turns off to get the voltage you wanted?
Well, I never actually did that, but I've done things like unwind the wire from it to use it for antenna wire.
Now, I've done that too.
Yeah.
I've done that too, and I tell you, that's another thing we can talk about here sometimes. That's good, an invisible antenna there. All right, let me jump back on Ameritron here. Let's play a little bit more here.
Adding that to their things that won't. Here's where we build our high-powered legal amplifiers. This is the start and assembly of the, as you had mentioned that Rob had on his bench earlier, the AL82 amplifier. This is in the first beginning stages. They go through and they.
These are the big boys here.
Here you see
nice.
the filament.
Oh yeah.
We wind that in. And we have gas arrestor tubes also in there in case you have outgas of your tubes or something. Especially if you don't sure about your tubes, you buy an old used tube and you plug in there and you're not sure. Things could happen, blow out things, but those will protect your amp. That way, if they arc over, the gas arrestors will clamp it, save all the power supply components of the amplifier. This is the plate choke. We use a squirrel cage blower to force air down.
Is that a pretty quiet blower?
It's pretty quiet. It's for what it is. It's really the quietest type blower out there. It's a squirrel cage. They balance it. It's cast aluminum also. You don't have to worry about heat warping it or making it get out around or anything. Here's where she's building these got wire harnesses that goes in here.
Oh, she's actually putting the harnesses together, huh?
She's making the wire harness there, getting it ready to start installing.
Maybe we get a shot of the wiring harness she's building here. So she'll put all the right length wires in there, and then she'll tie them all together, and it'll come out with a harness.
Come out with a harness, and that way they can just lay it inside the unit, and every wire that's supposed to be there, they'll be there waiting on her to assemble.
Okay.
This is also the amplifier. You can make it full QSK operation. What we do here is we build a QSK switch. These little pin diodes are high voltage pin diodes, so they'll shut off at 500 volts. What this does is this allows you to run full break-in. If you want your amplifier to run modems that computer runs, or you want full break-in when you're sending code or something like that, then you can install this, and the pin diodes will super quiet, super fast, so you can get 90% of your receive time when you're operating CW. Here we have Jacob. He's our lathe guy. He does all of our winding. Right now he's winding the plate chokes that we see. You can whatever needs turning and counting turns, it can do it for you. This is the plate chokes that he's winding right now. Each section is precise, so that one thing is you don't want a resonance spot in your HF bands. So this blocks all your DC from coming in when you're operating on HF for all the ham bands and stuff. So that's the purpose of this choke. That's why we have to make sure each one is wound the same every time. And then also we wind these two. This is two wires wound together. This is our filament choke. So we take two wires and wound them at the same time, and then
Do you guys put a ferrite core or something in there?
Yeah. Yes, sir. They'll slide a ferrite rod in there, and then they'll tin the ends, get the enamel burned off, and then they'll put a shrink over it so the rod won't slide out or anything. Over here we build the RCS switches, remote antenna switches. These goes up on your tower. This is the control box for one. This is a 5-position switch. It takes this one. You have to run small gauge telephone wire, like 22 gauge 5-conductor telephone wire. You run it up to the outside box, and it's labeled A through G.
So Martin, I'm going to stop it there just for a second, and we're talking about your remote antenna switches there. And I've got one of your remote antenna switches. In fact, I've built a number of them, but I did something really stupid with your remote antenna switch. You know, I've got the 4-position, and it sends the control voltage down to coax. Well,
that's a real popular one. Go ahead.
I started looking at my antenna. The SWR things just started looking strange to me. And I didn't pay a lot of attention to it for a while. I didn't use that box a whole lot because I had other antennas coming in. But, you know, I took that box down and I put it over on a workbench, and I opened it up and started looking at this thing. And I said, let me look at this diagram. See how this thing works, you know. I thought maybe you were sending a little data stream down the coax to select, 1, 2, 3, 4. But on that one, you're not sending a data stream. You're sending, I think, minus 12, plus 12, and you're sending AC. And I said, wait a minute, how can he send AC down here? And I looked on the back of that antenna box, and it said 12-volt AC, and I had a 12-volt DC power pack plugged into that thing for 6 months. So, and I noticed that there was 2 or 3 positions that didn't look like they were working right.
Well, you're right. It used all 3 of those voltages to control to switch in the antenna that you want. And
that's right.
The AC is rectified up there in the box itself.
So, hey, once I put that AC power pack on there, the thing started working right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Hambot, do we have another prize? Okay, let's do another prize here before it gets too late and everybody goes to sleep. So we're going to do another Hambot prize here. All right, and for all you new timers out there is a delay between what you're hearing on video and voice with the chat room. The chat room is the official time to claim your prize. Hambot's going to call the timeout, and he's going to. Let me see if I can get him on here. Here we go. He's going to count. There's a picture right there for all you guys. He's going to count it down, and you can't argue with Hambot. If he says you didn't click in time, you just didn't click in time. So the prize, this prize is a, let me see what things are moving too fast here tonight. Let me see what the prize is. The prize is coming from a different part in the studio here, guys. Let's see. Okay, this was for the MFJ 1702C antenna switch. The MFJ 1702 antenna switch, and it looked like K6 RHT. Richard, looks like Richard claimed it. Hambot, was that right? We had a winner. We had a winner, looks like maybe out in California that won that. And guys, thank you so much. And let's, Martin, are you ready to go back to the video and see the rest of Ameritron?
Oh, I am.
Okay.
I'm ready for it.
All right, here we go.
And you just match your color code from one box to the other box, and this will allow you to switch up to 5 different antennas. This is also, we're using big open frame relays.
Yeah.
This will allow you to operate from DC all the way up to 250 megahertz with no loss, and you can also go up to 450 megs. By using the big relay contacts, you have real high port-to-port oscillation, so you don't have to worry about any bleed over coming in if you use it as a components as they're floating antennas. Also, it allows you can add a solder bridge or a jumper wire, and you can ground any unused ports.
Oh, okay.
And that'll give you extremely high port-to-port oscillation.
Martin, next time we're gonna get Mike a little bit closer to the microphone.
The RCS-10 model.
Okay.
This is an 8-position antenna switch. Instead of having 8 control wires going out, we just run binary. So you just need a 3-wire conductor to go to it. Then this is what it looks like. Our outdoor box is all stainless, so you don't have to worry about any corrosion if you're located down on around any ocean water or anything like that. Don't have to worry about salt affecting it or anything. But this will give you up to 8 antenna ports with 1 input. We have another device. It's not here at the moment, but it's RCS4. It doesn't require any control cable. You can just tie it into your coax line, and it'll go up and feed signals externally. This is our same amplifier you've seen that was making up there, except we can change the tube chassis, change the transformer to whatever the tube requires for heating current. This is using a 3CX 1200 Z7 type tubes. What that is, and it's got just
3CX 1200.
chimney.
That's a big guy right there.
This little device here, all of our tubes, when they come in, it's a high pot for us. That's what it is. Depends on what type of tube. We plug our tube into whatever socket, and then this will measure the leakage current from the anode to the grid and cathode of the tubes. That helps us determine a good tube before they install it into.
So hey Martin, let's talk about that just real quick. That's some device that you've built there that test tubes for leakage and so forth. Do you test like all new tubes when they come in?
Yeah, we check all the tubes. You know, most of the tubes now are made in China, and I think there's some that are still made in Russia, but most of them are made in China, and we have to be very diligent in making sure those tubes are good, and we check every single one of those. And we built the tube testers specifically for those purposes.
Okay, so Martin, now do you have any relatives over there you can contact to tell them to make sure those things come out a little better?
Well, no, I don't have any relatives that I can contact to
not at the tube factory, huh?
Oh no, I think. Well, my brother Bobby would know, who is still there, but I don't know any of them myself.
Well, your family has been here a long, long time, so I'm sure your ancestors are all over there, but none working at the tube factory. Okay, well, let me start the video back.
Okay. Up front. So that kind of completes our tour here. Glad y'all came through.
Well, Mike,
Seen what
hey,
we do.
we enjoyed the tour of Ameritron. Man, you got some beautiful equipment here.
Yes. Yeah, we.
And it's kind of fun to watch y'all. Let's go together. Thank you so much
Yes,
for showing it
sir.
to us, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so Martin, that was just a quick walk around at MFJ at Ameritron, and I did cut little pieces here and there out because it was so long. I mean, just to walk around in Ameritron to see everything took like 45 minutes. So we kind of gave him the highlight there. I think we covered most everything.
Well, I think you did a really good job in doing that. You know, I'm watching the video on my laptop, but I'm listening to the audio on my iPhone, which is coming directly from you, and it's kind of weird with that 20-second delay.
Oh yeah, it's going to be like that. Our Skype connection is going to be almost real time, and then we get that 20-second delay on the webcast. And that's what I tell people, don't let that confuse you. Well, you know, you guys are building some nice looking amps. I would guess that Ameritron is a pretty good name in amps, isn't it? There's a lot of people that use those.
Well, you know, there are more Ameritron amplifiers in use throughout the world than any other brand. You know, it used to be Heathkit back from 30 years ago, but when we got Ameritron, it only had a few amplifiers, and all the amplifiers have been completely redesigned and modernized. And when we introduced the AL811 series, we sold just a ton of them because we brought the price down where just about any ham could have several dB increase in their signal just by plugging a box into the wall.
Well, and you and I had talked earlier today about that dB increase, and there's all kind of different ways to get it, and to get more or get less. And we're going to have a show maybe talk about that one night. Next, let's jump real quick. We're not running too awful late. Let's jump real quick into. Let's go over to Cushcraft and High-Gain, and take a quick walk through there. And I'm real excited for people to see your new log periodic antenna you've got. That's one nice antenna. They'll see that here in a few minutes. So I'm going to go back to the video. We're going to run through High-Gain and Cushcraft real quick, and then after we get through there, we've got the evening to talk about things, and we'll open up the phone lines and we'll talk to people and we'll just have a good time. And I do have a special announcement I've got to make a little later in the show. After we get through with the video here, I'll probably make that announcement. I need to do one thing right now while I'm paused, and I will be we'll be right back with everybody. So everybody just stand by. Heard it, worked it, logged it. It's time to get the transceiver that's best suited for your lifestyle. ICOM offers a variety of high performance and innovative products. See how you can make the most out of the contest season with one of these transceivers. Ideal for the ham on the go, the IC7300 is a high-performance HF transceiver with a compact design. Don't miss a weak signal with the combination of the waterfall function and a real-time spectrum scope. It has RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and an SD memory card slot. The IC7851 will give you the competitive edge you've been looking for. Raise the bar and hear what others can't hear with the HF 50 MHz transceiver. It has reciprocal mixing dynamic range, a crystal clear local oscillator design, a spectrum scope, dual receivers, and a digital voice recorder. Can't wait for the IC7610? The IC7600 is still available and is at a great price. Following in the footsteps of ICOM's flagship radio, the IC7600 has an intuitive operation and the latest DSP technologies. It comes with a digital IF filter, dual DSP, 5.8-inch ultra-wide TFT display, and a high-resolution real-time spectrum scope. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios. Okay, we're back here with Martin Jew, the president and founder of MFJ Enterprises. Wow, Martin, we've looked at Ameritron. We looked at Ameritron tonight. We looked at your metal shop. You guys do a lot down there.
Well, we're trying. We're trying to provide some good products for all of our fellow hams.
About how many employees do you have down there?
We have about 130 to about 150 at any given time, depending on what the business level is.
Well, that's pretty good employment for Starkville. What they call it? What, Stark Vegas down there, right?
Start Vegas. Yeah.
Start Vegas. Are there a lot of other companies that have 130 to 150 people, or are you up there toward the top?
Well, there's 2 or 3 other companies that are big branches or national companies here.
Okay. Well, look, I see. Tell you what. I see Jill saying she's going to log out and go to bed in a minute. Jill, don't go to bed yet. I'll make that special announcement here in about 10 minutes. Don't go away, Jill. Hey, I see Candace is in here. She said, "Hi, Uncle Martin."
Oh yeah, Candace is my little sister's daughter.
Yeah.
And Jill may be my wife Betty's niece, if that's the same Jill. But Jill can tell us, and hello, Candace. I appreciate you tuning in and watching us.
All right. Hey, let's do Cushcraft real quick, and then we'll get into, and I'll go ahead and make an announcement here in a few minutes, and then we're going to talk about things and open up the phone calls. So here we go. Stand by. Here we go. Let me find our button here to push. Hey guys, I'm here with Tom Stone. You're a tall guy. You getting his head in this right here, or? He's about 2 foot taller than me. I want to make sure he's in there. Tom Stone with Hygain and Cushcraft here at the MFJ companies, and we're here to get a quick tour. So I'm turning it over to you.
Okay, welcome to everyone. My call is 885 Mike Tango. My name is Tom, and welcome to Hygain and Cushcraft. It's a little messy still today. We're getting ready for the open house tomorrow, so bear with us a little bit. We do rotators and antennas at this building. We have some new stuff we hope to show you, and some of the old stuff that everybody knows about, of course. And we'll just try to run down the line real quick.
All right, let's go. I'm following you.
Let me turn this one on. This is a new product that we have. It's a alpha spid rotator. It's not brand new, but it's been here a little while. I just have this set up for display, show people what we have here.
That's cool. I like the antenna you have on there.
Yeah, it's a 100% duty cycle, so no problem with burnout. We just let it run all day.
Yeah, wow.
Short and sweet.
Cool.
That's just a DC motor on there.
Uh-huh.
We use windshield wipers motors.
Okay. Very good. What's next?
That corner's messy. Let's look at rotators.
Okay.
I hope we got some.
Looks like I see one down here, a rotator.
Got a tail twister. These are the standard high gain rotators that we have.
That's a pretty big rotor.
And they're good for 20 square feet in the tower.
Uh-huh.
Old reliable. You can still get parts for them. They're all metal construction. There are no plastic gears like some of the others. Everybody goes back to these. They always come back. We make a great majority of the parts here ourselves. We import the castings and some of the rough metal that requires foundries, but we do everything here by hand still.
But if a person needs a high-gain rotor repaired, they can send it back to you?
Send it back to me. I do a full overhaul. No problem. They go all the way back. Anything that's got the 8 or 5 wire on it, I can work on. This is Julia, one of our packers here. She works with the MFJ equipment, and looks like she's loading up some rope today. We do all kind of products associated with the antennas, ropes, anchors, any kind of brackets that are required to tie the rope down to the antenna. And by the way, if you go to any of our websites, hit the big green help button, and you will see some of the articles written about the antennas that clue you in how to tune yours if you have problems, or just antenna theory in general. If you look up top, that's the new log periodic, which is optimized for ham radio. It's not a general coverage log periodic, it's specifically for ham radio. It is optimized for the ham bands, which is unusual. I don't think I've ever seen another one like that.
Yeah, that's cool. So, Martin, let's talk about that just for a second there. Let's focus in on this antenna. This is that new log periodic that Justin designed this. You want to tell us a little about it?
Okay. Yeah, that's what we call the BOPA, which stands for Band Optimized Log Periodic Array. And what it is, it's like a monobanner for every band. Each band has been optimized for gain and front to back and front to rear ratio, and is totally unlike normal log periodics. The performance of it is pretty incredible. It's like having a monobanner for every single band. It's a huge antenna.
Well, it's only about 30 feet long, isn't it? It's not that long.
Well, yeah, the boom is 30 feet long, and each element is full size, even on 20 meters, and that's how we can get monoband performance on each band.
Okay.
And now there's some other things you can do with it. If you have an SDR receiver, you can utilize every band at the same time.
So you can run multiple rigs on that antenna
at the same time. Right?
Yeah.
That's right. And also, the SWR on every band is very, very flat across the entire band. It's designed by Justin Johnson. He's a world-renowned antenna designer from England, and he's been over here 3 times to design these antennas using high-gain parts. And we're going to have a complete line of antennas that's designed by him.
Now, he designs them, but you're building this antenna there at High-Gain Cushcraft, right?
That's right. We build all the antennas here in Starkville. All the components are made here, and they're done with big, heavy-duty custom punch and die sets. And Joe Taylor, who's the father of JT 65 and FT8 and many, many other things. He's a Nobel laureate, uses Justin's antennas at Princeton University. And he's designing that whole new line for us here to be made by High-Gain and also by Cushcraft.
Well, you know, that log periodic, of course, it looks like, of course, TV antennas are log periodics, I think, and it looks like a log periodic. You might could fool your neighbors, but they're going to say that's the biggest TV antenna I've ever seen.
Well, if you get it high enough, it won't look so big.
That's right. It'll look pretty small if you can get it pretty high. All right, we're going to continue on here.
Okay, let me mention one other thing.
Okay. That's cool. Go ahead.
Okay. It has 13 elements or 11 elements, and we supply all the parts so you can either have 20 through 6 meters or 20 through 10 meters, where 10 meters has enhanced performance.
Okay.
And you can choose whichever set of bands that you want and change it at any time, because you have all the parts that we supply with it.
Okay, now that's not going to carry, that antenna, is it going to carry a Cushcraft or a High-Gain name on it?
It's High-Gain, and it uses all the tooled up High-Gain parts. It's a really heavy duty, really good built antenna that can withstand all types of weather conditions.
Okay, well, it looks pretty good the way it's constructed here. All right, we're going to move on.
I also have a couple of other new ones. This is a 10-band rotatable dipole. It does 40 meters through 6 meters, I believe. All work bands included.
Is this for loading or something here in the end?
Yeah,
Or actually,
these-
I see the coils there too.
Yeah, this
so-
is a LC resonator circuit. You have the coils and the capacity hats make a trap in essence. They don't look like traps, but that's actually electrically what they are. They stop the current flow at a particular point and bring the whole main radiator into resonance so that it will radiate. Yes, another antenna that you're looking at here
Yes.
is the new
Can I
cobweb.
make a comment on
Yeah,
that?
go right ahead.
Okay, those coil and spokes that's on the end are actually end loading, which is
Right.
the most efficient form of loading. They're not really traps, but they're inductive and capacitive loading, and what that does is to reduce losses, and that's the reason we can make it so small and so efficient.
Okay.
Now, the only downside of a small antenna like that is that the bandwidth is not as wide as a full-size antenna.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right.
Antenna. These are doing quite well.
Here's your
This
cobweb.
is the
The cobweb.
cobweb. And this is the new version with 40 and 30 meters. So we have 2 more wires on the outside which allow us those bands, and you'll have a little trouble finding them on the website, but if you need it, just go to the MFJ website and type 1835 on the search block, and all of the accessories, including this one, will pop up. You may need the high power version if you didn't get that. They're new. I'm not sure how it's going to come out in the sunlight, but they are just thin wires. And I recently got a report, I think it was yesterday, from one of these that survived in Florida. Nice hurricane report. So they're doing
So this
quite
is,
well.
you've got 40 on here? 40?
40 is on here. Just a simple coax hookup, and off you run. These are omnidirectional, which surprised me. I
Yes,
thought
sir.
they were.
Let me make a comment about that.
Uh-huh.
That multi-band rotatable dipole is an MFJ product.
Right.
And also, the cobweb that Tom is talking about is also an MFJ product. Now, the cobweb antenna that we are advertising now covers 20 through 10 meters, and we have, or it may cover 20 through 6 meters, but we have a add-on kit to the present one that we have now that the users who bought the original one can buy, that will add the 30 and 40 meter bands on it. Now we're going to have a new model that's much heavier duty that includes the 30 and 40 meters, and I think also 6 meters. But I just wanted to let the present users of our cobweb antenna that 30 and 40 meters is available for the antenna that they have. Now, let me also mention that if you look at the price of those antennas, the cobweb and the verticals, you can see that you can save a great deal of money by using the cobweb. Now, the cobweb also is omnidirectional, just like a vertical would be, and it's very light, and it's in one plane. It's almost a flat antenna, and if you are in a homeowner restricted area, you can just barely see the wires on that antenna. It's just been an incredibly popular antenna.
And you know, it's kind of interesting that it's omnidirectional. It's not a complete loop. It's an open loop. It's just what a dipole folded back on 4 sides.
That's right. It's basically a full-size dipole that's bent into a square shape. So it's almost totally omnidirectional. Not quite, but almost.
All right, we're going to move on.
We're bidirectional, but I put it on a rotator, and it truly is omnidirectional.
That's good.
Step down this way. This is the beginnings of a new antenna we're coming out with. It's a form of the hex beam. It seems like everybody's getting these. These are not even strung right now, just the basic outline. But look in the catalog coming out soon, and also on the website. Stay tuned. We'll have these posted probably in a couple of months. This is what's coming from us.
And Martin,
these,
I noticed that you guys have designed your own matching to feed those different wires. You've got a little unique connecting, I don't know, what do you call it? It's the two little tubes that run up that mass pipe there that connects the coax to all the different elements. So we're going to move on. Yeah.
You're right. We do have a different kind of a feed system, but let me also mention something about the hex beam that Tom is talking about. We're going to bring out 3 versions of the hex beam. One version will cover 20 through 10 or maybe 6 meters. I think we're including, well, no, I think the first one was 20 through 10 meters. And then another model will cover 40 through 6 meters. And the 30 meter and 40 meter will be single element, and the other bands will be 2 element. So they're basically a 2 element Yagi in the form of a hex beam. And then the third model will be a 3 element hex beam. So it's basically will be a 3 element Yagi antenna.
That'll be interesting to see how you do that. That sounds exciting there. Hey, there was a question here about your cobweb. I think your low power goes to 300 watts, and then you have a high power version.
That's right. We have a 300 watt version and a full legal limit version.
Okay, and I think the secret on that cobweb is you guys have built a little matching device there. I think the impedance is very low. It's like 12.5 ohms or something.
That's right. It's the feed point impedance is about 12.5 ohms, and we have a transformer that we have designed for the different power levels that would transform that 12.5 ohms into 50 ohms.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna move on.
Okay.
There's also from everybody else.
Yeah, I like the way you're feeding the different.
Yeah, this is a extremely strong support. Also, I've seen several of the other brands, and these are stronger than any of them. Excuse the mess. This is one of the 80-ton presses we had to get to make some of our flat metal into brackets. We have a variety of stuff being made at any given time here. A lot of scrap. We work with aluminum, light steel, aluminum, some copper, some brass, and plastics.
So this is
that's Cushcraft and
stock
High-Gain
antennas.
Stock room. That is my whole stock room right there.
Okay.
All
right.
Requirements are fast turnaround, and we have fast turnaround from many dealers both here and abroad, and they keep our shelves fairly bare in comparison to what you see at a lot of places. We're not a stock room by any means, or a warehouse. We just have a fast turnover, and we do send them out by the crate and by the pallet all the way around the world.
Well, I noticed a lot of aluminum tubing here. That's for building your antennas, I suppose.
Yeah, we have a lot of tubing. You can probably swing around this direction.
And what about these? Now, is this just high-gain mast or tower?
These are the famous high towers, the 18HT. They've been around since, well, in the 50s anyway. I found a 1955 QST with the junior version of this, so I don't know exactly how old it is. This tubing you see behind is fairly typical of what we go through. We have a mountain of tubing here. We have another mountain on the other side of the wall here, and we empty this out roughly once a month, so we have a very high turnover of metal.
Yeah.
We go through a warehouse full of boxes to pack the metal in, so we have a high turnover everywhere. Back here is pretty much a standard machine shop. Got just a couple more stops here, and we'll let you get on to your other place. We have a benders, saws, hammers, all kind of things back here. I hope it's not too noisy. We have some things running here.
Hello.
What I have here is basically an acetylene torch, and what we use this for is for our potentiometers on our rotators. They are nickel nichrome, nickel something coating on the wire, and we can't solder to it, so we have to heat this up into a vapor and deposit it on the end of the potentiometer so that we can put a wire on it and get a reading back down to the ground again.
So Martin, just real quick, a question. Question is, will there be a 160, 80, 40 or an 80 through 40 no radio required version of the AV680? Do you understand all that?
Well,
No.
we can, if there's some demand for it, we can make it. The AV680 covers 80 and 40 now, plus all the other higher bands. Now, we don't have a version of the AV680 that covers 160.
All right.
Now, we can do that, but the problem is the bandwidth is so narrow.
Uh-huh. And also, I'm assuming, and I'm not familiar with that antenna, it must require a ground plane?
Well, no, those have counterpulses built into it, so there's no additional ground plane or ground system that's needed.
Okay, so it has like a counterpoise or radios on the antenna itself? I mean...
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, that way you can mount it, I guess, above ground or whatever. I guess if you didn't
That's
have
right.
those, you'd have to put some radios on the ground.
That's right, yeah. You need to get it above
Yeah.
where, people won't walk into it, something like 12 feet above ground, so it clears everything.
So,
but you can use it at any level.
So I imagine it gets kind of complex and complicated when you start talking about multi-band antennas like that with radios under it. I know, you don't have to have radios or counterposts, under like a half-wave antenna, but you do under a quarter-wave antenna.
That's right.
So I guess it depends a lot on how this antenna is constructed and, the wavelengths and all that. So I don't think, let's see, radio counterpose, plane, all return current path. Yeah, so I don't get you're planning one without any counterpose under it, are you?
Well, the counterpose is part of the antenna.
Oh, okay,
So
I got you.
You can mount that anywhere you want to.
Yeah, and years ago, Martin, I had one of the 18 AVQs. That was the 80 through 10. And, of course, it didn't have a counterpose on it or anything. I mounted it ground level, and, of course, then I put radials out. It wouldn't work very good without radials for sure. Okay, well, let me move on here.
Okay, let me mention that we still make that 18 AVQ.
Do you?
And, yeah, we do. And, when I was a junior in college, I used a 14 AVQ.
Yeah.
And we still make that product, but all these products that we're still making have all been modernized and updated so they perform better than they used to. But we keep those same model numbers because they have been around for so long and people know them and they trust them and they know that they work.
Well, it was a good antenna, and I had it 50 years ago, and I had a friend got his license, and I think I just kind of paid it forward and gave that to him to use. Somebody gave it to me probably, so I gave it to somebody else.
Yeah, that's.
And a potentiometer is basically that. It's a wire wound potentiometer, and I'll be showing you the machine that winds that here just in a couple of minutes. You can see we go through a big scrap.
So this is
about every week or two. We'll
wow,
empty that.
yeah.
A lot of scrap. Various sizes, reasons for it being there.
All right.
You can come right around this way. This is our VHF and UHF section. We use all of these drills to drill the holes in line for VHF and UHF beams. If you do them by hand, there's always going to be one that goes off kilter. When you do it like this, they all come down at the same time. They're all straight every time.
Right, distance apart. Lay it in there and drill off. So Martin, I know you growing up, you built some Yagi antennas. Did you ever drill a hole crooked?
Oh, that's the only way I drilled holes.
Yeah, I know it. Me too, man. This machine here looks like it's got that problem solved.
Well, yeah, and there are jigs that make sure that all the drill heads are set in the right position, and once they are, then every product is drilled in the right way.
All right, we're gonna move on. All the holes at one time.
Drill the holes.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got a 2-axis antenna. You got a horizontal. Get that set up. Lay it back here and do the other orientation, whether it's vertical or horizontal, whichever the other one is. And that's used for some of the satellite antennas as well.
Yeah.
We have vertical and horizontal polarization. So we do one and then the other, and they're always straight every time.
Right.
I have this little winder here. You might get a kick out of. We use this to wind potentiometers. We take a bare strip and we coat it with wire and make a wire wound resistor out of it. When we get done, we chop it to a particular length and we get either 500 ohms or 1,000 ohm pots out of that. Bend it in a circle and solder a wire to it, and we're ready to install it in a rotator. And I'll show you the completed pot here in just a second. This little machine just goes around and around and around, and the strip comes out. I don't see any, they've already cleaned them up.
Yeah.
Strip comes out and ready to be cut to length.
So, hey, Tom.
Yes.
This is a little template on the floor. I see.
Yes.
It's all marked. Does this help people to know what pieces go into an antenna?
Yes, this is our standard packing method. We have pictures of the product underneath it. We have a gap there if something is not in place. So rather than go down a checklist, we simply look at the board and see where the vacancies are. Looks like one or two there probably still need to be filled. This is going to be, looks like eventually part of the hex beam. So that's a new product there.
Oh yeah.
But that way we know.
So it looks like you're reusing it. Yeah, go ahead, Martin.
Just want to make two comments. That potentiometer that Tom is talking about is wound with nichrome wire,
right,
which is a resistance wire. And what he was showing you earlier with that flame sprayer is that you can't solder the nichrome wire.
Right.
So we use a flame sprayer to deposit molten metal on the end so we can have a solder connection. The other thing, now what that potentiometer is used for is actually up in the air in the head of the rotator itself in the die-cast housing, and it's used to give us the direction that the antenna is pointed in.
Yeah, and Martin, in just a minute, we've got a close-up picture of that potentiometer all put together.
Okay, and we make all the parts for it, including the contacts, and we've improved on those contacts and the spring that's used to make that contact.
Right.
And the other comment I wanted to make is that board that we use to make sure all the parts are correctly put into a box, and that's not the only thing that we do to make sure all the parts are there. Now we bag up the small parts, the bolts and the nuts and the screws and the washers and the small parts, and then we weigh them, each bag, and then we weigh the entire box to make sure that we have all the parts in it.
So you got a couple of different layers of quality checking in there. Not only your board,
right.
Not only your board where you lay the parts out, but also you weigh it to tell if something's missing. Okay.
That's right.
Obviously came off of rotor, or it's a rotor. I like this. You're reusing parts to build a new antenna.
That's off a high tower. believe it or not.
So you're just taking different parts and actually,
Well,
hey.
well, this we had to make custom.
Yeah. But this is off a high-gain
Yeah, it's
antenna.
off a rotator.
That's one of your rotor parts.
That's off a rotator.
So, yeah,
Where possible, we'll reuse it instead of redesigning it from scratch. It
that looks nice.
works.
Well, that's great.
And I think the last stop.
I
will
think
be
we're
to see
coming to the end
actual
here. We're going to see the potentiometer
I'm
next.
telling you about it. We'll show you what it looks like. I've actually got one apart here. We can kind of see the inside of the rotator. Let me bring this over where you can see it a little bit better. This is a tail twister piece that's come in. I have a motor which sits on top here, and this is the potentiometer which sits on top of that. When the rotator turns, it turns this potentiometer with it. And this is nothing more than a voltage divider, and it drives the meter in the control box down.
Now, that's the potentiometer he was showing us earlier. You get to take the little flat strip, and it wires the nichrome wire around it, and then you bend it in a circle, and you put it all together, and you put a little a little arm there that rubs it, and you got a potentiometer for your rotors.
On the ground. So we have a complete rotator here. We have the gear train, all the gears, and we have the brake wedge right here on the bottom to lock it so that it doesn't turn in the wind.
Very nice.
Thank you very much for coming out today.
Well, hey, Tom, thank you very much, man, for showing us. That's all right, for showing us Cushcraft
Yes, sir.
and High-Gain and anything. What else do you do here?
I do base station MFJ antennas also.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All
Yes,
right.
enjoy the
so,
show.
that was real interesting, Martin, to see how you make parts, even the smallest parts to go in rotators like that. That's so cool, man. And you guys can still repair rotors if anybody has a trouble with them. They just send them to you, right?
Well, that's right. There are rotors that have been up for 20, 30, 40 years
Yeah.
without any problems. But if they do have problems, they can send them back to us, and we can rebuild them and get them working just like when they bought them before. Did Tom show you the punch press? I must have missed that. Those 80-ton punch presses.
He showed us the first 80-ton. It was green.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if we talked much about the other one.
Okay. Well, there's several of those.
Uh-huh.
But those are all hard tooling, which it's a very expensive process to make the tooling for it.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, look, Martin, I know we're running late, and you don't look too sleepy yet. And we've got a couple people. We've got a couple people here that we're going to bed, but they stayed up for this special secret announcement we're going to make. So we're going to make that special secret announcement in about 25 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. We're going to make it. We're going to make it right now, guys. I am so pleased to announce that Martin Jew has decided and agreed to come on our show. It was some tough negotiations. Let me tell you. This guy's a real businessman. But Martin is going to come on our show as a regular on our show. And we're not sure exactly how we're going to make the segment yet, but it's going to be to help hams out. If you got antenna problems, we're going to talk to Martin and try to figure this thing out. And we're gonna help you with ham radio, and hopefully Martin can show you things like how did he think about building an antenna analyzer? What was the thought process, and kind of in a design process, how did he build it? Before he went to manufacture them, and just all kinds of things like that. Let's get into the amplifiers and talk about differences and why this is this way and why it's that way. And I had a long talk with Martin today about just amplifiers, and I don't have a tower. You could put a tower and a big Yagi up, and you might not need an amp. But in my case, I'm not going to put a tower up, so I need the amp more. So anyway, Martin, congratulations! Thanks for being a member of our cast here on Amateur Radio Roundtable, and we're going to have you on here as much as you can be on here.
Well, I appreciate that, Tom, and I will be as regular as I can. and
Now, Martin,
Martin,
let me ask you a
that
question.
have any problems.
You said regular as you can. Is that an advertisement for Metamucil or whatever that stuff is?
Well, I didn't want to put it that way, but you know.
All right. Well, you know. All right. So I'm looking at the chat room there. Okay. So we've announced it there. People now know. They were all guessing, man. I had all kinds of guesses in the Facebook group tonight. But this is going to be cool to have you on here, and I think you're going to bring a lot to the show. And I know it's a little late, but I'm going to open the phone line real quick. I'm just going to open it, and let's just see if anybody's out there who wants to call in. I don't know if they're going to want to or not, but let me figure out how to do it here. So the phone number is going to be, let me put the phone number up. I'm going to put the phone number on the screen here. It'll be 901-286-1116. If you want to talk to Martin or say hello or ask a question, dial 901-286-1116. The phone line is open for you.
Feel free to call in, and Bobby and May, my little sister, and Candace, her daughter, little Pete.
Well, you know, I think little Pete said he had to go a while ago. I guess being an attorney, he has to get up early.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah.
My wife Betty, anybody in the family who's watching, call in.
Now, you think Betty's watching tonight?
I think she's watching, but she's kind of shy. She doesn't
Well,
like to call.
I didn't want her to think that we were real serious about her hitting you tonight. I think most people know that it was a joke.
Well.
All right. So, hey, Martin, there. Someone asked a while ago. They've got a tuner, and the meter. I think you're having a problem with the meter. It's gone bad or something, and they were asking if you had like replacement parts. You carry most of your replacement parts, don't you? Here we got a phone call coming in. Let's see if we can answer this.
Well, we did carry replacement parts.
Yeah. Hello. Who's on the phone?
Hose.
Who's on the phone?
This is KF4DGS. Stan, how you doing?
KF4D.
GS.
Stan, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I know
Yes, sir.
Stan. He's from Alabama, off of Highway 82.
All right. Cool.
I was curious to know if Martin could elaborate on how old those punch presses were that they used for the high gain antennas.
Stan, some of those punch presses are probably older than I am. I know they're older than you are.
Yeah, I was thinking they were from when I was over there on the visit here a while back. They're like the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Maybe not 20s and 30s, but it could be in the 40s.
Martin.
Now, that big 80-ton punch press we bought from Birmingham and brought it down here.
Martin, that thing, I know you're saying it's an 80-ton press. I think it looks like it weighs 80 tons to me. That thing is so solid iron, it ain't never going to go bad.
Yeah.
Tom, were you there? Was it running when you were there? Could you actually feel the floor move while it was punching?
You know, it wasn't running when I went back there, no. But I heard.
Stan,
if you ever get a chance to be back there while it's working on your next visit, you can actually feel the floor move when it hits.
I would imagine you can.
All right, thanks a lot, and thank you, Martin. And glad to
Stan, where are you calling from, Stan?
Oh, I'm calling from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Oh, okay. Tuscaloosa. Okay, I know where that is. Very good. Okay.
Yeah, roll tide.
All right, man. All right. We'll see you later, Stan. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks for calling, Stan. Let me mention that there is a concrete pad under that 80-ton punch press that is 6 feet deep into the ground that it sits on.
Yeah. All right. Hello. Who's on the phone?
Oh, okay.
Who's on the phone?
Okay. I know where
This is Ray.
Ray. Hey, Ray.
How you doing?
Hey, Ray.
Doing good. Now, Ray, Ray must have his computer on because I hear it in the background.
Yes, I do.
All right, Ray, can you turn the volume down just a little bit on your computer?
All right.
That'll help a whole lot. This is kind of like one of those radio shows, Martin, where you have to.
Right.
Fans. Hey, Ray, I appreciate you. I appreciate you calling.
Yeah.
Now, Ray.
How you doing?
Ray,
Yes, this is Ray. This is Martin's brother-in-law.
Yeah, you're
I
the
just
brother-in-law.
wanna comment.
You're the brother-in-law.
Comment on.
Now, Ray, have you got your ham license?
No, I don't.
What do
Matter
you-
of
what
fact,
do you-
I barely can dial a radio.
Well,
So
hey,
that's my ignorance on my part.
I
But
bet.
I still appreciate what you all are doing, and you sound fantastic. You do a super job. I was just wondering where that office was that I built for Martin years ago. He's covered it up with everything and run out of room, but I want to comment on Martin doing your show.
Did you build that office?
Well, one office, and I don't know, he's filled it up, but I don't know, he's changed so much.
Well,
I don't know, it's been 50 years ago.
Looks like to me.
But anyhow.
Looks like to me you didn't build it big enough. You didn't build it big enough.
Right, well, it's never going to be big enough when he keeps on coming up with new products.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to comment on Martin saying, doing the show. I wanted to remind him that he has 2 grandchildren that he's going to have to be changing diapers for. So he needs a lot of time for that before he does the show now.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I got a picture here. I got a picture. Is this one of them? Well, you can't see it. Is that one of them right there, Martin?
Looks like to me you didn't build it big enough. Well, that's a 20-second delay, but I'm sure it is.
Okay. All right.
Oh, no.
But anyhow, you all do a super job, and I just hate that I'm too old to get back into ham radio. It sounds really interesting.
Well, you're not too old.
No.
I'm
You're
super.
not too old
I'm
at
super
all.
impressed with all the machines and thing. I'm more on the hands-on mechanical end of the operation.
Well, I bet you
like
would have fun.
Punches and everything.
I bet you'd have fun just helping us build the things that we need to build there, Ray. And hey,
Right.
Ray,
Well, it sounds
Christina
interesting.
said
You all do a
hi.
super job, and it's good to talk to you.
Yeah, okay.
Take care.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Okay, Ray. Hey, Ray, I'm going
Okay.
to see little Ella and little Leo, our grandkids.
Right. Well, you got to bring them down to visit with us. Show them what the country is.
Well, I will do that. I sure will.
Okay.
Thanks
Okay.
for
Well, y'all
calling,
take care.
man. You were the first family member to call the last time, and the first one to call this time. And,
Yeah, Ray, you
maybe
win
some of
you
the
win
others
a
will call.
Ray wins a prize. Just see Martin about it, okay?
Okay. I'm sure he'll make it good.
I'm sure he will.
Okay,
Take
we'll
care,
see you,
Tom.
Ray.
Okay. Good night. Bye bye.
Good night.
Right. And I also want to say hello to Christina. She is my niece. She was up in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah?
She moved to, I forgot where she moved to, Austin, I think, in Texas. And she is the oldest daughter of my brother Bobby.
Yeah. All right. Is somebody on the phone?
Yeah, me. Oh, who is this, Tom?
This is Tom. Is that
Hey,
Bobby?
Bobby.
That's Bobby. I recognize Bobby's voice now.
Oh yeah. I had to get my 10 seconds of fame.
Well, you got it here, man. And look, let me tell you something. You're the number 2 family calling in, so Martin has to give you a prize too. Just see Martin after the show.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
do that. Yeah, tell some of the other family to call in.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Eve's getting ready to call in. I think
Okay.
little Peter and Patrick went to bed.
Let me tell you, I'm so glad to have you guys on here. We haven't used a years on the show.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna call collect next time.
You can do that. You can do it.
Okay.
I'll take a collect call.
Okay.
All right. Bobby,
Okay,
good
I'll
to
talk to you later,
hey Bobby,
Okay,
good
okay.
to see you, Bobby. And Bobby, I saw you eating
Uh-huh.
I saw you eating all that chicken last week.
Oh, it was good. I'm waiting to for next time.
You know, I think we ought to ask Martin if he won't do that like once a year.
Yeah, that'd be good too.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if I can do
just
it
invite
once
us
a year.
down, or just invite us down for chicken every now and then, you know?
That's right. Invite family and friends over.
Yeah, yeah.
That was good. I'm glad you got everybody to come. Appreciate you calling too.
Okay, I'll let somebody else call in.
Okay.
All right.
Now,
Okay.
we had a lot of Hollandale people to come.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Ronnie.
Buddy Keith and Ronnie Jones.
Yeah. Right.
All right. I think we got another caller.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab
talk
you.
To you later.
Good to see you, Bobby.
Okay, bye.
Okay, see you.
Is somebody there?
Yes.
Yeah. Who's there?
It's Jeff, N3VE. How are you?
Hey, Jeff, N3VE.
Is Martin still there?
Yes, he's still here.
Yeah, Jeff. I'm glad you
Great.
called in. Thanks.
He's not even getting sleepy yet.
Now I'm on the East Coast.
Where you from,
Martin
Jeff?
is too, so. Cherry Hill, New Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia.
Wow.
Hey, Martin, are you still on your telephone?
Yeah.
It's doing a great job. I figured your battery would be run down by now.
Well, I had 80% left. Didn't use it much today.
All right. Well, hey, Jeff. Glad to have you on here tonight. Glad you called in. What do you?
Thanks.
What do you been?
It took a while to get through. You had quite a few callers, which is great.
Yeah.
And Martin, I never got to meet you, and I've enjoyed your products for years. I've been a ham for 25 years, and your MFJ, the acronym was had some, I would say, a different connotation at some point, but your products are so great, and I love the looking at the Tom's tour through your factory, and it's so impressive. I've been in manufacturing for 30 years, and just looking at what you have is amazing.
Well, Jeff, I really appreciate you saying all that, and appreciate you using our products, and I hope you'll come down south and let us show you some MFJ hospitality. We'll roll out the red carpet for you, Jeff. Come down and see us.
I might have to do that someday. Thank you, Martin. I appreciate everything you do
Jeff,
for the radio hobby.
Let me tell you, Martin is telling you the truth. I went down a day or two early here last week, and I came back weighing about 20 pounds more than when I went.
No, I've heard about the show you put on there and all the great food, Martin. So it's a very nice pleasure to meet you, and I hope to see you. Will you be out in Xenia next year?
Yeah, I've gone to Dayton every year ever since we started, so I will be there.
I've looked for you like for the last 5 or 6 years, and for some reason, you must not be in the area when I'm there.
Well, I spend a lot of time out in the flea market.
That's where I'd like to go, flea market.
Well,
hey, Martin, Martin, did you go out in the flea market this year?
I went out some. Seemed like it rained this year,
Yeah.
and I didn't get a chance to go.
That's right, man. That's right.
But I did go out there and looked at some stuff.
Look at the MFJ mug there. That's great. I've got quite a few of those.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, Jeff, thanks for calling, man. I know it's your bedtime.
It is close to it, so I probably won't hang out tonight. But thank you, and Martin, appreciate it so much for everything you do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and you have a very nice evening.
You too,
Right.
sir.
Good night, Jeff.
Good night, Tom.
All right, so Martin, my friend here in Memphis, WA4NVM, Rick, is asking if you will come to Free Fest next year in Memphis in April.
Well, I have been to it, and if I would try to come, I will. I like going to Memphis.
Yeah.
Because little Pete is up there. He's one of my favorite people, and my other nephew Robert is up there. So, and you're up there.
I'm up there, and I know the hotel that you like to stay at, and I'll buy you dinner at the restaurant next door.
Well, that sounds like a good deal to me.
Yeah. Well, let's see. This may be a call here. Let me see.
Okay. While you're answering a call, I'm going to make a comment. I hope my two good friends, Ruby and David Joe, will call. from Jackson, Mississippi. They're both medical doctors.
Okay.
And whenever I see them, they talk up a lot, and I hope they'll call and say hello.
All right. Maybe they'll call in. Who's on the phone?
Hey, Tom, this is May. Hey,
There.
Martin.
Hey, May. How you doing, May?
Hey, Annie, I'm
Pretty
glad
good.
you called. Appreciate that.
Now, May,
Good show.
you're down in Houston, I think, right?
Yeah, we're still in Houston.
Did you get any flooding?
At my house, I did not, but Houston,
Yeah.
it was flooded.
Oh, yeah, I know. It was bad.
bad. Yeah.
Well, you're
But
lucky.
it's another good show. All of the other relatives are trying to call in.
Okay, well, I
Well-
appreciate you calling. For those who don't know, May is my little sister.
You know, and I just hadn't been able to. We got 16 telephone lines flashing here, and
Really?
and I just wanted to pick you, May.
Uh-huh.
Yours was flashing.
Yeah.
Yours was flashing a little faster than the others, so I thought I'd just answer it.
Well, that was good, but I just wanted to say it's another good show, and I enjoy watching it. So I'll let you talk to all of the other folks then.
All right. Well, May, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks for
Great.
calling.
All right. All right.
Bye.
Good night.
Night.
Yeah. I got to swap that 16-line phone out for like a 32-line phone. Oh, got another call here. Let's see what's going on. No, I don't even hear a ring, but their calls are coming in. Hello, who's on the phone? Hello? Well, I think we lost him. Well, no. Says it's on hold. How can somebody put me on hold? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I did it. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I just found out I can take more than one call at a time. I was just an accident. Who's on the phone?
Just tell Martin this is David and Ruby Joe watching the
Hey,
show.
David.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, David.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Hey, Martin. You look great, Martin. Hey,
I feel great
you gotta
right
be
now,
careful.
and I know you know what that means.
Now, is David a doctor?
Yeah, he's a medical doctor. Put
Okay.
Ruby on.
Okay. Well, that's cool. We're gonna have to get David. See, at the end of our show every week, David, we usually have a little thing called Hangout where we invite people to call in. We can have 10 people at a time, and us old guys, we have a doctors in there, and we always ask him what our ailments are.
Oh.
Well, David's always glad to answer any medical questions, and Ruby always has very good advice to give to everybody.
All right. Very good. Hey, David and Ruby.
Is Ruby gonna get on?
He's right here.
Yeah, we got some noise coming from your computer in the background. Maybe you can turn it down.
Yeah, you got to turn the computer on. Turn the computer down. Turn the volume down because we're hearing it.
I think. Well, let's see. Are you still there, David? David, you there?
Hey, this is Ruby.
There's
Hey,
Ruby.
Ruby, I wanted everybody to hear what you sound like.
I'm a little hoarse tonight. Listen, I've enjoyed watching your show. Every time I go,
Hey,
Nope.
Ruby, you got
Every
people all over the world that's listening in and watching you.
She's kind of
So,
breaking up a
Don't
little.
say anything that's going to embarrass me now.
listen, I enjoy watching the show. I learn a little something every time I watch. Okay, so I thank you for teaching me some physics.
Well, maybe we can get Ruby to get her license.
I'm a little
Yeah.
hoarse tonight.
Yeah.
Tell Ruby give us some advice.
Your show every time I.
Hey, Ruby, you got people all over the world that's listening in and watching you.
She's kind of breaking up a
Don't
little.
say anything that's going to embarrass me now.
I'm still hearing Ruby's radio in the background, but that's okay. We're managing.
Ruby, you got to turn that computer volume down. We're hearing you 20 seconds later.
Okay. Maybe we can get Ruby to get her license.
Oh. Hey, remember, I'm the one who can hardly pass physics now.
Who can do what?
I'm the one who can hardly pass physics. Remember, I told you that?
Physics. She's the only one that can hardly pass physics.
Oh, okay.
I'm still hearing Ruby's radio in the background, but that's okay.
No.
Ruby, you got to turn that computer volume down. We're hearing you 20 seconds later.
Oh, I think David has removed that. No. Remember, you can hardly pass physics now. But I'm learning. I'm the one who can hardly pass physics.
Yeah, I heard that 3 times, including your computer.
Well, I had a little trouble with physics myself.
I'm still hearing Ruby's radio in the background. That's okay. No.
Ruby, Ruby, do you know you have people listening to you as far away as Australia?
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, but I am enjoying watching the show and a little bit. Okay.
Okay.
I'm the one who can pass physics.
I'm still hearing the feedback, but that's all right.
Well, I had a little trouble with physics myself.
But anyway, I'm enjoying the show. So, like I said, your work is amazing.
Ruby, do you know you have people listening to you as far away as Australia?
Well, okay. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, but I am enjoying watching it.
We're going to have to teach Ruby. Next time you talk to her, Martin, you have to teach Ruby how to turn the volume down on her radio, okay?
I know. That's, I kept hearing everything 3 times. But thanks, Ruby and David, for calling in. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night now.
Thank you. Good night.
Here's David.
No, that's it.
Are they gone? All right. Hey, okay, got a question in the chat room about satellite. Martin, you need to make an azimuth elevation rotor.
Okay, we'll sure look into that. You know, those kind of products will bring us into the modern age. I mean, that's been going on for a long time.
Yeah. Well,
you know, we can do that by combining some of the products that we have now.
You know, you could. It's so easy. It looks like for you guys to prototype something, man. Just weld 2 rotors together. You know?
Yeah. And just control it and let it just track.
That's right. And you got, hey, oh man, that'd be easy for you guys to do. I think it'd be a market for it. I don't think there's but maybe 1 or 2 people out there that might be making those.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
All right. Well,
no, but we can. I mean, let's hear from some callers that's got some more ideas for products that they need.
All right, Martin's interested in caller IDs. If you've got caller ID, caller ideas. if you got an idea, let us know, and Martin might write that down in his little book here, and they might try to make it. You know, Martin. I was down in Mississippi the other day, and a cop pulled me over, and he said to me, "You got any ID?" And I said, "About what?" All right.
Any other Mississippi joke?
Any more callers? 901-286-1116. I think we're probably getting late, and people are starting to go to bed, man. It's been a good show tonight, Martin. A lot of interest and a lot of good comments. Somebody on the phone? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I do. And who's that? Is that still David?
Oh, this is Patrick Jew.
Patrick?
Hey, Patrick.
Hey,
Patrick,
Martin, how you doing?
nephew. He's Bobby's son, oldest son.
He must be on the same phone because I didn't answer the phone.
No, I was listening in on your call with that your last caller that had the idea.
Yeah.
I don't know how it got connected.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little hoarse. I had an event this weekend, so I lost my voice.
Patrick lives in Austin, Texas, and he just came back from London or from England somewhere.
Cool.
I did. Yeah. I just had a business trip out there, so got back last week and was in Houston this weekend for another event. So got wind of Uncle Martin's 45th. I think it was happening while I was in London. So unfortunately, I couldn't make it to Starkville, but hopefully I can make it out there. Thinking about coming to Mississippi in April, so might try to swing out east and visit you out in Starkville, Uncle Martin.
Patrick went to Mississippi State University, and he went out and worked, but he came back and lived here in Starkville for 2 years as a banker.
Okay. Let me see if I can answer this call. I don't know if it's going to put you on. I'm going to put somebody on hold. I don't know how it works. Hang on. Who do I have on the phone right now? Patrick, you still there?
This is Bruce.
Okay, I got a Bruce.
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I may have cut Patrick off. I'm not sure how to work this. There's a bunch of other calls still coming in. But anyway, sorry I cut Patrick off. Hey, Bruce, where are you?
I'm up in Ohio.
Ohio?
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Ohio, Bruce?
Cambridge, County Guernsey.
Cambridge.
Pretty much right on the Old National Road, as they say.
All right. Well, go ahead.
Now, got something that has, from about 3 years back, and now over 3 years, actually now. I put in a ticket on your site, and it was concerning the 828 meter, which is like digital on the right and analog on the left. But basically what it doesn't have, in a way, it does not have a peak function. When you step through the settings, it goes from average, and then it goes to a peak hold of 1, 2, or 3 seconds. But there's no peak function, really. But this ticket I put in is to actually add a peak function and have it so it can be selectable of about like a 0.2468 second delay, to have it act like like an adjustable delay, you might say, because then it would be quite a versatile unit. You've got the, like a, say, 1, 2, or 3 second hold, but there's no actual peak function, you might say, like other meters have, like there's another brand names that have them already built in. So I don't know if you need the ticket number, but it's from well over 3 years back, but it would need a firmware update, which is not a problem, to have this extra function built in.
So you're asking about a way to update or modify an 828 meter to read peak or average?
Well, it already has average.
Okay. All right. To read peak. Yeah.
Yeah, but it has a peak set. It has a peak hold of either 1, 2, or 3 seconds.
Sure.
But it does not have a peak reading function.
Oh.
That would be acting like I explain it as being in your 969 tuner. see what I mean? That's basically what it would add a function to.
Well, we can sure look at that, Bruce. If you can check that model number so I can make sure I look at the right thing. I don't recognize the 828 model number. I know there is a 868, but but anyway, if you can send another ticket in and ask Richard Stubbs, who handles that, to forward a copy to me, I will sure take a look at that for you, Bruce.
Well, it was. Yeah, it was. Name Richard, 14617. So, like I said, over 3 years ago. Not over 3 years ago. I can give you the original ticket number. I'm looking at it right here.
Bruce, why don't you send an email to Richard with all the particulars in there, and send it to Martin with all the particulars in there instead of going over all the detail here, and I think Martin will be glad to answer you back.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that though.
You don't know how to send an email?
Well, no, that's not a problem. But is his address on?
Yeah. Hey, Martin, what's your email address, Martin?
It's mfjue@mfjenterprises.com. But it'd be better if you would contact Richard Stubbs at MFJ Customer Service. He makes sure I get all the stuff that's addressed to me. Some of the stuff that comes to me gets put into spam folders, and I don't always get everything.
Okay, well, send it in again, Bruce. Send it in again, and send it to Richard. And it sounds like to me they'll be looking for it.
You mean on your
Richard Stubbs, customer service.
Or just customer service?
Yeah, customer service. The guy's name is Richard Stubbs, and he's very responsive, and he always brings everything when anybody asks for it to be brought to me.
So send it to the customer service address, but the person's name is Richard Stubbs. And Richard will see it.
I'm copying this down. Okay, customer service at mfj.com.
Okay. MFJenterprises.com.
Yeah, look on our website. There's a customer service button that you can just click on, and you can send them the email.
Well, that's probably the tracking ticket thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing that you did before.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, I'll try. What I'll do is I'll just copy out what I sent over 3 years ago and resend it.
That sounds good, Bruce.
All right. Thanks for
me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for calling, Bruce.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Okay. Bye.
And who we have on the phone now?
Hi, this is Nick.
Nick?
Yes, KC2FAL.
KC2FAL?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
Hey, Nick, how you doing tonight?
Okay, Martin, just wanted to say I've been listening to the show and learned a lot about your antenna systems that you have. I do have a couple of questions for you. I am a blind ham, totally blind, and I was calling to find out more information about the one antenna that I think all the parts are inside of the antenna, and each part comes out on its own. I forgot the name of it. Is the bulb antenna? Is that what it is?
It's the which antenna?
I think it's the one where all the parts are built inside this big long tube, and they all come out separately, and you can adjust them to different heights. Is that correct?
Are you talking about a mast?
No, it was one of the antennas that you were talking about on your interview before, but I didn't catch the name of the antenna. I just heard that it had all the parts inside a 30-foot mast, and all the parts come out.
That's that log periodic in that 30-foot boom. I don't know about the parts coming out.
Yeah, no, that's like a huge. It's a log periodic, which has 30 elements. Now the boom itself, which holds each one of the elements, is about 30 feet long, and the elements extend from that boom out, and the longest element is 36 feet long. It's a big antenna.
Okay, the reason why I was asking is because I know somebody who I think has that same antenna. He showed it to me, but I'm not sure if it's the same one. But it looked like his was that way. All the parts were inside this big long tube, and he could adjust the parts, the elements, as he needed them to be. Is that the right antenna?
Well, okay. The boom is what holds the elements. The elements are like a dipole, which extends out perpendicular to the boom. And the longest element is the 20-meter element, which is perpendicular to the boom. It extends out from end to end 36 feet. So from the boom to one tip, it's about 18 feet, and from the boom to the other tip is 18 feet. If you can imagine a pole horizontal that's 30 feet long, and elements that's perpendicular to that sticks out from it. And there's 13 of those elements. So it's not built within that 30-foot boom.
So, Martin, somebody in the chat room said it sounded like you may be describing like a step IR. Is that the one where the antenna moves in and out of the tubing?
The step IR is that, but it extends out to that length, and the elements that's active is within the elements that it extends out, but it goes in and out of that element. But the size of it is still the entire length of that. But it may be what Jeff, I think, is talking about.
Okay, well, I'm not really sure now because, as I said, the one antenna that my friend showed me, it was just a big long pole, and it stood straight up, and he could take out the elements that he needed for what band he wanted to go on to, or he could extend all of the elements at one time, and they all came out of this one big long pole. And it was he says it's a portable antenna that you could take with you if you were going somewhere and you needed an antenna to operate your radio with.
Okay.
So now I'm not sure.
I think I know the one that you're talking about. It's a portable vertical antenna that is a telescoping vertical antenna. That's I don't remember exactly how long it is when it's collapsed, but what you do is to pull it out to the length where it's a quarter wave, and you can go from 20 meters to 2 meters just by adjusting the length of it. Now that's one of those antennas that requires a ground or counterpause or some kind of a ground system, but a piece of wire or 2 or 3 wires as a ground system will work, and then the antenna itself telescopes and it goes vertically, and you adjust the length of it so it's a quarter wave that resonates on the frequency that you want to operate on. And I don't remember what the model number is, but that's an antenna that allows you to operate on any frequency from 14 megahertz to about 2 meters.
Okay, because this antenna that he has, it has a box that attaches to the mast, and then there's a wire that attaches to the box, and then the coax goes into the other connector on the box. Now, I'm not sure, I don't remember what he said that the wire does that goes from the box to the antenna. But that there's only 2 wires that are with this antenna. So, I was trying to find out what the name of the antenna is and if it would be easy for me to use, because I do live in an apartment, and we're not allowed to have permanent outdoor antennas, and that's why I was calling to find out about this one, because if I could get a portable antenna that I could move in and out as I need it, then there wouldn't be a problem doing that.
Okay. Well, Jeff, we do have several antennas that does that will clamp onto a window. You open the window up, and you telescope the antenna out. And there is a box that is a matching network, and also a ground or counterpulse tuner where you tune it so you can provide a good match to your radio. I know there's at least 3 or 4 models that we have that would do what you want to do. I can't remember the model numbers now. It seems like one of them is like the 1621, but there's several models that's like that, but it's basically a telescoping antenna that will clamp onto your windowsill that you can telescope out and then telescope it back in and close your window on it, or just take it off of the windowsill, and you can tune it with the matching box and be able to operate within your apartment.
Okay, now does that cover all of the bands, that antenna?
Well, it covers, I think there may be some that will cover down to 40 meters. I don't think we'll have any that goes down to 80 meters. But from 40 through at least 20, and it may even cover, some of them may cover 6 meters and 2 meters.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now also the radio that I would be using has a built-in antenna tuner. Would I still need the tuner that you were talking about, or can I use the one that's in the radio to tune the antenna?
Well, that's part of the antenna, is the antenna tuner. Now, we have several models, but the model that probably would be best for you is one that has a built-in antenna tuner. Now, the antenna tuners on the radios are not wide-range tuners, and they can't match all the impedances that you might see on different antennas. If you have an antenna that's fairly close to where the radio can match it, then the built-in antenna tuners can probably do it. Most of the antenna tuners that are built in the radios will match SWR of around 3 to 1 or lower. But for some of these shorter antennas, you need a very wide range matching network so you can get power into the antenna. And that's what those boxes are for, that are built into our portable antennas and apartment antennas.
Okay, can you give me some idea of what the prices are of these antennas, the price range?
Well, I can't remember what they are right now, but they're somewhere between $100, $200 in that price range, and I'm sure we have some that are less expensive than that might be manually tuned.
Okay, very good. All right, well, I'll ask my friend if he can give me the name and model number, and I'm pretty sure it's an MFJ antenna that he has. And then I guess I could call your company with that information, and they could help me to get the right antenna. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, we will be happy to answer any questions that you have, Jeff. And I really appreciate you taking time to call us. And if there's anything that we can do to help you, we'll do it. And one of my really good friends from college days runs our radio reading service on our public service network. And he has not been able to see, I think from birth. Name is Mike Duke, good friend of mine.
Yeah, his name sounds familiar. I might know him. His name sounds very familiar.
Okay.
How could I get in touch with him?
Well, I can't remember his call right now, but you could probably search for him at qrz.com and find him. But his name is Mike Duke, D-U-K-E, and you might even start off with K5 MD. I don't know. I can't remember his call right now, Jeff. You know, I'm getting to the age where I can't hardly remember what I ate for breakfast this morning.
Okay. All right. Well, Martin, thank you very much. And Tom, thank you very much for taking my call.
All right.
And I'll check into that, and hopefully I'll be able to figure out what kind of antenna my friend has, and hopefully I'll be able to get one for my own use. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
and Tom, we appreciate the show very much. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Nick, and see you later.
Okay, take care,
Thank
guys.
you very
Bye-bye.
much.
All right. Well, you know, there was people are hearing that, Martin, and they're all trying to help answer the question. They're talking about different antennas, and I saw people talking about, you know, these fiberglass poles that you can pull up that had the wire through it. So I don't know which antenna he was talking about, but
well, we have one of those too.
Yeah,
Fiberglass pole with a wire through it.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Got another call here. Let's see what it is.
Okay.
Hello, who's on the phone?
Hey, Tom, this is Stan again. I got a quick question for Martin again.
Okay.
I was wondering if he was going to bring out a automatic antenna tuner that you can connect the ladder line straight to instead of having to go to a balun and then to a coax. And I'll just let him finish up with that, and I'll talk to you later, and thanks for taking my call again.
All right. So I guess what, Martin, a balanced output, right?
Well, we do plan to bring out a fully balanced antenna, automatic antenna tuner that would do exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah. Well, he went ahead and hung up. He was probably listening on the show. So, yeah, that would be cool to have a balanced antenna. Somebody had another question. Something about it. Do you think you might ever come out with an HF rig, maybe 160 through 10 or something?
Well,
it's a lot in a radio, isn't it?
Well, there is a lot in a radio. You know, we have purposefully stayed away from that because that requires so much engineering and so much keeping up with all the changes that it just makes it difficult. Well, not so much difficult. We can just do better doing what we're doing now instead of trying to get into the mainstream where there's so much competition.
Yeah, well, there's a lot in these new transceivers, a lot.
There is.
I mean, I you know, I'm not saying you guys couldn't do it, but like you say, it would require probably a lot more, I mean, bring in more new skills, and I mean, it just increases everything you do from troubleshooting to building to design. I mean, wow.
Yeah. No, I think we're better off staying.
How about any kit, maybe SDRs? People are asking about SDRs for HF, kits for SDRs. You told me the other day it costs you more to make a kit than it does to put it together.
Well, it does. You know, if you just kind of think about it, when you make a kit, you've got to go to all these places to get all these parts and put them together.
Uh-huh.
And the time that it takes to go to each location to get the parts is much longer than the time that it takes for our surface mount machine to place the parts on a PC board and solder them. In fact, we have some kits where we place all the parts and solder them all together and give them a board with all the parts already placed and soldered, and all they have to do is to place the parts that we can't use the machine to put on.
The big
Things
parts,
like
the potentiometers
and switches and jacks and things like that. And we can do that far cheaper than we can by making a complete kit. And it's much better for the person who's going to build a kit, because all the parts are already placed, and they don't have that many other parts to put on, and it's much better for us because we can do it much cheaper that way than to spend the time in gathering all those parts together.
Martin, I don't know if you have followed Farhan out of India, but he has a kit called the BITX40, and it's about a little 6-inch square board, and it comes completely assembled with all parts on it. It's mostly all surface mount on there, except for the little toroids he winds, and he's got local people there that stuff those parts and solder them on. But this is a 40-meter transceiver that he sells for about $59, but you have to put it in your own box. You have to wire up the tuning potentiometer, the volume control, the antenna jacks, power supply. You got to build all that yourself. All you get's a board, but I built 2 of them here. The first one came with VXO in it, and it used a pot to tune the voltage, to tune the frequency, and it had terrible drift. And then the next one he came out is the same board, but you just unplug the VXO and you plug an Arduino in it, and it's just rock solid, and you got digital readout, and it's a sideband transceiver. And my first contact on 40 meters here with it, it's a little 5-watt radio. My first contact was ZS1 in South Africa. In fact, I've only made 3 contacts on that radio, and all 3 contacts were South Africa. But
wow,
it's a neat little kit, and people are just.
I think I have heard of that or read about it or have seen it. If our hams would like to have a board where they do most of the work, we could do that. We could provide them with that.
Yeah.
Even though the cost structure is different here in the U.S. from India, we could still do the same thing because we both are using machines to put all the components on. And the expensive part is the human labor that's required to put on parts that can't be put on by machines.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I saw your surface mount machine back there, and that thing must have cost a penny, let me tell you. But I just wonder, Martin, is there anybody around locally that if that thing broke, could you get service in here fast to fix it?
Well, our service has to come from Massachusetts.
Wow.
We've got people here that can fix most of the problems, and it's pretty rare when we have to bring someone down from Massachusetts. Now, the machine itself is made, I think, in Sweden. We used to use 3 of those surface mount machines that were made in Japan, but that company went out of business, and we replaced it with a much better, much bigger machine that has been much more reliable from Sweden, and their operational center in Massachusetts. And whenever we have a problem that we can't fix, we have to bring somebody down from there.
Oh yeah. Who we have on the phone?
Hey Tom, this is Bill, WZ1L.
WZ1L. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill, how you tonight?
Now, Bill's my friend that came down. He came down from Massachusetts too, so maybe he can come down and fix that thing. Yeah.
Hey, Martin, I'm calling in reference to your MFJ 4603. It's a MFJ antenna window feed-through panel.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm really curious. I saw something while we were rolling through there, and I didn't see this particular item. Can you actually fit a window through there?
Fit a window?
What you do is we make it. I think it's in a 4-foot length, and all the components and connectors and stainless steel plates are mounted on it. But we make it in the length so that you make one cut to make it fit the window that you want to put it on. Now, we used to make it out of, I forgot what it's called. It's wood that's been weatherproof, chemically treated to withstand all kind of weather. But the problem with that type of wood is over time it warts. So we have switched over to, I think it's cedar, that's naturally weatherproof. And but yes, it will fit almost any window that you can just close down on it, and we provide all the weather proof sealing tape that goes around it.
Okay. Well, I was looking because I had to move my shack to the second floor, and when it was on the first floor, I actually had a hole in the side of the house. But my mother put her foot down and told me I can't put any more holes in the house. And so I'm looking at this thing here in your catalog, and I'm saying to myself, well, gee, maybe that's something I need, because it's got at least 3 coax connectors in a ground screw there that I could, run it to the ground rod in the ground. So, but I was just curious, looking at it here in the catalog there. I guess, you'd have to cut it, because if I remember that board that I saw it on, that was at least a good 4.5 feet or something like that. So.
Well, Bill, you just cut it the length of your window, and pull the window down, and I would secure the window where it can't be raised. And I think that model, or either a different model, even has a little metal slot you can open and bring other cables through it. Maybe a rotor cable or something like that.
That's right. We have different models that does exactly what you're saying. You can adjust the size of the hole to get connectors through, like a connector that goes to a rotator, and then slide it, adjust the hole size so it fits the cable.
Okay.
But
well,
Bill,
thank you very much for
exactly
talking to
what
me
that
this evening. And,
product is for.
I kind of missed that chicken down there.
Oh, you missed that?
No, he misses it, he said. He had plenty.
Oh. Well, you need to come back down here.
Yeah. All right, Bill, we'll see you. 73, Bill.
Thank you very much for the invite there, and I'll see you in Dayton, I should say Xenia, in May. So thank you for taking my call, Tom.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for calling, Bill.
All right. Man, Martin, we've been on here 2 hours and 45 minutes. So we ought to just go ahead and call the show tonight. We could take calls all night, but you need to get home and get your beauty rest. And I need to check on a few things. Kathy, we've got a home over in North Carolina. Kathy's going over to North Carolina tomorrow. She likes to get away from you every now and then and go over here and do some sewing and stuff, in the mountains. I don't know what's so nice about these mountains over here. I get kind of bored over there. I do take my radio over here and set it up and operate some, but anyway, so I need to check, see what she's doing here. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the show and just tell everybody thanks for watching tonight, and tune in next week, and we'll see you next week. And Martin, just stand by a second.
Okay.